with that, I would like to call up the class of 2026 Salutatorian, Johnny Santiago, who will share his reflections from his time as a student at Lourdes Academy.
Mr. Mikeso. So, they say picturing the audience naked helps calm your nerves while public speaking. And I was starting to believe him for a second, but then I caught a glimpse of Mr. Heiser, so now I'm pretty terrified. But good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for taking your time out of what I'm sure is a very busy day. And coming to celebrate our amazing class of 2026, so let's give them all a huge round of applause. And for those who don't know me or forgot my name by now, my name is Johnny. I went to school here. And most of you are probably still unfamiliar with me, so I'll break the ice and I'll share a fun fact about me. And I'm actually the biggest minority to have received the honor of salutatorian within the last 5 years, and that being a man. So, which is honestly quite disappointing because I think it makes a stereotype of men not being smart, but we can fix that, guys. And now that you know a little bit more about me, I'll actually stop wasting your time and get to the actual speech. So first I'd like to talk about how great this class really is. In my opinion, this class is the most accomplished, whether it be academically, athletically, musically, to ever come out of Lourdes. And we've made it through a lot. We made it through COVID, the school flooding again, the teachers, who I won't say by name, but I think we all have an idea of who they are. Mr. Mikeso trying many times to use Gen Z humor and failing miserably each time. And all other types of adversity that we face. And we've still managed to graduate. Now I haven't known my class as long as most of the people in it, only being here since my freshman year. But I can definitely say that there's no shortage of determination, personality, and confidence. We all hold ourselves to high standards and we find ways to achieve them. Athletically, we've brought back a conference title to our football team while making a run to the state semifinals. Our ladies have brought numerous conference titles to the basketball team while also making state runs. And our track team, whether it be boys or girls, our ladies have made it to state many times. And our boys track team is just starting to do good again. Shout out Mr. Trailways. Academically, we've had numerous 4.0 GPAs and many above. We have many people in National Honor Society, and many of us participate in school clubs and find ways to use our talents in different ways. There are too many good memories to count between this amazing class, and looking forward, I don't think there's a more prepared group of young, innovative people that is ready to face the future ahead. Rather than reflecting on high school, I actually want to focus on qualities that will do good for us in the future. And what better way to prepare for what is ahead than to learn from the past. And while thinking of what to write, a few stories came to mind. The first story has to do with what it takes to be inspired. As Drake once said, started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here, brother. This hit song by Drake is actually a great example of what I think inspiration should look like. The story behind the song is that Drake, in a studio session, misheard other rapper Future telling the sound engineer to start the track from the bottom, and this small mistake inspired Drake to make this hit song. And I think we should all be more like Drake. Moving into the future, I hope we can all be inspired by something little in order to try something new, no matter what it is. It could be a sunny day outside, or a good song, or the scent of a new food. Just find a way to experience life through a new lens. Be curious, try new things, and have fun. Let loose a little, because what's the point in life if you're not having fun? The next story involves kindness. A simple topic, but in reality it's much harder than one would think. In my experience, the best way to learn about kindness is by having a younger brother. especially if their name is Michael. Now, this isn't one specific story, but the amount of times I wanted to punch that kid across the face, but didn't out of the kindness in my heart. There's too many to count. It could be him making a mess in my car and not picking it up, or playing any sport or game with him, or him just being there, or when I hear that he's talking with his ex for like the third time, but who knows, third time's the charm. But each time I'll remind myself, Donnie, be kind, he's your younger brother, and you only really need to be kind to him until you talk about kindness in your speech. So, in all seriousness, do best to be kind to others, especially your family. One act of kindness that I think, and I hope everyone does who's graduating today, is thank your family for all the time and commitment that they've given to you to help you get to where you are today. And you might as well give them a hug while you're at it too. Just remember, no matter how much you might not want to be kind to others, small acts of kindness cannot go unlooked, and they might not be as small as you think. So whatever you find yourself doing in the future, share a smile, open a door for someone, or compliment someone on their outfit. And those were all picked straight from ChatGPT, so you know that they're good ways to be kind to someone. But don't just be kind to others, be kind to yourself too. Find ways to treat yourself. And because in the future there'll be days where nothing's going right, but don't get down on yourself because you're awesome and you're worth being here. My third and final story involves disappointment and failure. And this story actually involves the process of writing this speech. I'll just cut the sweet talk. I thoroughly disliked writing this speech. I was told by Mr. Mikesell that I had to write a speech for graduation in January, and that the final draft had to be given to him at the beginning of May. And my response was, oh great, this is amazing. I was very excited. Then came the writing process, and at first, writing the speech fit well with my initial reaction. It was very good. I wrote what I thought would be my one and only graduation speech. It was glorious. My speech was finished. I had plenty of time to relax for the last few months of school, and then I read the speech, and it was terrible. So I then went on to write 2 more drafts, and my oh great reaction from before was more like, oh great, but I still had around a month to go, so it was fine. Flashback to last week, I was 5 drafts in, and I still had not submitted my final draft. My oh great was more, oh, explicit word that I cannot say. I need to get this done. Thankfully, I locked in and delivered this absolute gem that I'm talking about right now. However, this speech would never have come to be without the many failed attempts before. And I sure as heck can tell you, I was disappointed in those attempts. I would never want to share them with you guys today. So don't let failure bring you down. Sometimes we're so afraid of failure that we choose not to try at all. Failure is not meant to be something we fear. It is a crucial part in shaping our character. And nobody here is perfect, so don't be afraid to ask a question or to try and solve a difficult problem or try out something new. If you fail, learn from your mistakes and move on, because in the end, it's always better to try and fail than to never try at all. So, what have I covered here in this speech? Inspiration, failures, kindness. I don't know where any of these came from, but I guess they worked out pretty well. And that kind of brings me to the end of the speech, and I mentioned how this class is one of, if not the most prepared class for the future. I've mentioned some good qualities to have for the future, but what does our future really look like? And a lot of us here planned out what our majors are or what professions we think we will end up in. But I think there's a certain amount of excitement in not knowing what will come next. Not knowing is okay. Heck, I barely even know what I'm talking about right now. But we're all still young. Well, most of us here. So let's not ruin the surprise of our future successes and be content with saying, I don't know every once in a while. And that brings me to the conclusion. And most of you are probably tired of hearing me talk by now, so I'll just end it with a quote to think about. This is by Steve Jobs. You can't connect the dots looking forward. you can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny Santiago, for